credited with winning one election for the Republicans and helping win 3 others. And, of course, he formerly worked with the State Department and other areas, and, of course, has several degrees, one from Harvard with dealing with international banking and finance. He was an expert on so many fronts. He's published an article today that I wanted to wait till tomorrow to put out because I wanted to add some of the other breaking news to it. But Merkel Phelan, as we speak, is adding some of the other backup documentation. I mean, this is proven. This is extremely credible. But everybody forgets, they admit that the DEA, the FBI, has access to the NSA database and is spying on Americans domestically. They've had congressional hearings. It's been in hundreds of mainstream news articles. But I wanted to remind the public that this parallel construction is going on where they use the NSA spy systems to look at Americans. Then they go and formulate investigations after they have the data from the NSA and go to the courts claiming other evidence, many times fake, to be able to then get the indictments. So if you want to pull that up, just type in parallel construction and you'll get Reuters, Associated Press, you name it, dealing with it. But here's some of the headlines. Dragnet, NSA spying survives 2015 review. And that is a giant illegal domestic spy grid, Electronic Frontier Foundation, going on for at least a decade plus, so several years of George W. Bush. There it is in Reuters. U.S. directs agents to cover up program used to investigate Americans illegally. That's Reuters. NSA files decoded. London Guardian. Edward Snowden surveillance revelations explained. Confirmed by public documents and congressional inquiries. Again, the Senate spied on, just on budgetary. What are they planning to do with the CIA? The CIA spied on them, not as Chinese spies or anything else, but what are they going to do with our budget? So illegally doing that. That's the New York Times. Here's another one dealing with all of this. U.S. directs agents to cover up program. So it's all right there. Now, we know that Dragnet did exist, and the Electronic Frontier Foundation says at least up to 2016 it's still ongoing. That's a very respected nonpartisan group. But now, we have our law enforcement sources. I'm going to be very careful about this because I don't just do this as a matter of protecting myself. I have law enforcement sources and others, and then I have investigative journalists who have long histories of doing this for decades, like Corsi, who now works for InfoWars, setting up her Washington bureau, who know how to do it legally and lawfully. Because let me tell you, I've talked to lawyers, I've talked to others when I got secret FBI manuals and other things, and I had family that'd been in intelligence agencies say, you're lucky you're alive, man. You know, the stuff about veterans are the #1 enemy, there's a national gun confiscation plan, all that stuff nobody believed for a week when we broke it, the MIAC report. Remember the veterans of the terrorists, and then Napolitano, Janet Napolitano, the bad Napolitano, not Judge Napolitano, came out and said, oh, yes, we are saying the veterans are the #1 enemy. That's a real manual. Well, this is bigger than that, okay? It's up on Infowars.com. NSA database documents NSA electronic surveillance of Donald Trump in Trump Tower and Alex Jones in Texas. And it goes through it and has screenshots of the real documents, but the phone numbers are X'd out, and that's done in the database until you get authorization to get into it. You have to have secret clearance to get into it. But when state police and federal law enforcement want it, they've got to get authorization from special boards that are very shadowy to get into it. Then it unlocks it all. But I know these phone numbers. I've called Trump. He's called me on these numbers. It's all right here. Of course, Trump's the president. He knows way more than this when he says he knows he's been surveilled. Well, it turns out he's been surveilled by Obama and even before. So this is huge. It's on Infowars.com right now. We're updating the article and adding new documentation as it goes. So if you've already been looking at it, hit refresh. Let's go to Dr. Corsi. We've got 5 minutes till break. We'll come back. And we have the detective with the cold case posse with the outgoing sheriff in Maricopa County, Sheriff Arpaio, who's been bravely involved in all this as well.